Hello and good morning and good day and welcome to another DF-02 Madness video dedicated to all of us, or the few of us who got the DF-02 sickness, addiction, madness. So yeah, we're gonna build a DF-02 from the remaining parts that I have here, including a new chassis. So the first thing that would come into mind when upgrading a DF-02, because I'm gonna build this as stock as possible, but I'm gonna do a few necessary upgrades. But yeah, the first that comes into mind is that the best upgrade for a DF-02 would be to upgrade the chassis. For an example, upgrade the chassis to a TT-02B. Or find some clever solutions. There are a couple of videos online where you can see people. True Buggy made one with some modifications, and Rob Brennan I've seen. Possibly a few others have made something to strengthen this weak chassis. So yeah, a lot could be done, especially with the suspension mounts that are part of the chassis here. Maybe I ought to get a DF-02 chassis one time and try to do something, some metal brackets or some epoxy fill on the weak spots, and maybe even get these brackets here, lines here, down so you can actually fit a square lipo. Yeah, maybe even cover these holes up and so on. But yeah, in the end we would actually maybe just end up with a TT-02B chassis. But it could be a fun project, I don't know. But right now I'm just gonna build a light runner with a few necessary upgrades. So we got the DF-02 stock parts all cleaned up, and we got some TT-02B parts that I pulled off the Aero Avante in the last video. We got the electronics set up here. We got a few leftovers of the upgrades, and yeah, most of them have been thrown into a box by now. And I actually added some here, some ball bearings that I knew I would be missing, and some hex wheel adapters and some upgraded silverish kingpins. The original ones are yellow. Yeah, we pulled off a front shock tower that was not included in the second-hand build box. It's called, but we pulled that off the Aero Avante 2, and I added some pinion options, and since these are the only turnbuckles left from the other two, we might need some more, and maybe need a shock tower motor mount. Just randomly picked some parts that we might use along the way. Maybe I'll add some if I get some ideas on the way, but yeah, pretty much a stock build. Let's start by building some diffs. So we got one diff finished here, and I just wanted to show that I use AW grease for my off-road cars here. I think I added a little bit too much in the last build of the DF-02, the Aero Avante. So that seems pretty locked up. So yeah, I'm gonna go a little lighter with the AW grease and just, apply it. Apply it around here and then assemble it. Yeah, but when you've done it, you should of course check that your ball bearings are spinning. and then check if there is a diff action that you like, and this actually seems pretty okay. So it will provide a sort of limited slip effect, and it feels pretty smooth, and yeah, good for off-road. Yeah, if you wanna focus on your steering and everything and turning, and yeah, get some normal grease, silicone grease. These are not locked, so you can fill it with oil, silicone oil or anything. So you need some silicone grease for that. And there we got the drive line. So yeah, do remember that the AW anti-wear grease, this real thick stuff, is only for the inside of the diffs. You've got to use some other silicone grease or Tamiya grease or ceramic grease for all other parts, like the ring gears here outside. Oops. So yeah, I swapped out the plastic bendy drive shafts now that we had this graphite with the aluminum ends here. Since we also had these center shaft, propeller shaft joints, or whatever they're called, we might as well use those. And we also swapped out the 70 tooth spur, stock spur gear, with the high speed 67 tooth spur gear, which will, yeah, give us a few more options if we wanna go fast. So I'll just put those aside and get this inside the chassis. Now the bevel gears here have seen better days, but yeah, it will be alright for now. So it will sit perfectly when it's pushed down in place by the gear covers. So yeah, I will grease it all down now. You might wanna add some grease along also under the ball bearing here. Oh, sorry, there you are. Because that will actually seal it off. You can use as much as you want to. Better too much than too little. You can always wipe the excess out from the outside afterwards. I will grease it up and yeah, close it, and yeah, looks good, turns fine. So the next thing will actually be to get the motor fitted and seal it off. Just wanted to show you a thing. So a metal motor mount is always a good upgrade, isn't it? We got the GPM here, and I think this is the Tamiya one. And yeah, these are sold as DF-02 motor mounts, but they are actually for the TT-01. And yeah, I already greased it up, so it might be difficult for me to show it, but they don't fit. Now I can show it, but trust me, there's a lot of play here in these motor mounts, both the Tamiya one and the both sideways here and frontways here. So yeah, the motor actually moves, and that's why I don't use them. And so far I haven't found anything remotely better than the stock plastic one. So this is a 12-turn brushless motor that I pulled out from the aero mounter. We got a steel pinion, a 19 tooth, and set up for a 19 tooth. So yeah, we could install the black hard-coated DF-02 stock, but since this is already on, I think I will be lazy and just slot it in. And we made some progress. We fitted the whole car with bumpers and body mounts and the whole suspension system and steering linkage. And yeah, while I'm quite pleased, it doesn't really do it for me, this setup. I'm quite happy with the shock tower, but as you can see, it's actually making a bit problems for the shocks that are a bit too short and there are no spaces inside these. But yeah, we fitted the GPM turnbuckles here, and it's actually the stock DF-02 kit version turnbuckles for the steering that I fitted as the upper arms, and we got some TT-02B turnbuckles in the rear. Basically what I could find. Yeah, and the whole suspension system besides the arms here are actually the TT-02B. So I had some white shocks I found, some leftovers from TT-02B, and yeah, the upright snuggle arm, C-hubs and everything, and the drive shaft and out drives and wheel axles and everything. And in theory this should do it for me, but I just doesn't feel it, and I don't know. What do you think? I think I will actually put it back to stock for now. I test fitted it with the wheels and body, and yeah, while it looks different, and that's sometimes a good thing, yeah, one of those times where it just doesn't feel right and you just go with your intuition, and my intuition says I will return it back to some DF-02 parts and yeah, take it from there. We can always do something later when I have test driven run the car. So I'll get onto that and be right back in a sec. That was better. More personal satisfaction, and I also feel that they actually look better and they turn better and they move better, and everything is just better, at least here from the tabletop perspective. Let's see about it when we get them out running. So yeah, I removed all the not DF-02, TT-02B parts, and I actually reused a lot of the stock DF-02 parts, especially here in the rear with the stock dog bones and stock outdrives and wheel shaft, and we left the TT-02B upgraded turnbuckles, of course. Yeah, changed all the shocks to DF-02 black ones, and yeah, I actually used, I don't know if you remember or if you watched it, I also got a set of universal axles, which I doubted I would use because they seemed a bit broken and worn and not that great of a quality, but I actually reused two of them here in the front, where there's hopefully a little less stress than in the rear, and it's always nice to get universal axles in the front where it won't hinder. Sometimes there's a bit of trouble with universal axles due to the angle and stress and everything up here, but in the front it's always nice. I also managed to use these GPM parts and they actually fit very good together, at least just as good as the stock C-hubs here, but yeah, upgraded. I might as well use them now that I got them. And I hope these universal axles in the front will hold up, or else I got some spares. Yeah, so one of the issues I had was the C-hubs for the DF-02 is actually a lot narrower. You can see the stock parts here. I don't know if it's visible. This is the TT-02B. but everything is just bigger and larger. Also all the wheel axles and outdrives, and it just didn't turn very fine, and when I moved it, the axle went far back and forth and actually at an extreme angle hit the C-hub. But yeah, the DF-02 parts at least work on a DF-02 without any issues. Now the TT-02B parts will definitely fit in the rear. It's just in the front that I experienced some trouble. It could be due to the turnbuckles also, I don't know, but yeah, much nicer now. So on to the next step. I will fit some electronics and actually get it tested, and then we can fit the wheels and body, and then it should be a done deal. All good. Went for the small servo mounts again. These are actually quite soft. They come from this parts tree with arms and everything. So an aluminum upgrade for these would be nice in the future. But yeah, just plugged everything in, and it definitely got some spark with that motor and a 3S battery. Tires and wheels cleaned up nicely. They are a bit worn in the middle, but yeah. Spire spiked tires are getting rarer and rarer, and I think there's a couple of runs in these still. So the wheel hex adapters, let's not use the plastic ones, and the ones I actually planned, they are a bit too narrow. I think these are 4 millimeters, and I think these are too bling bling blue. So I found some, these are 12 millimeter for the TT-02B, so quite thick. I hope maybe we can fit them, but else we got these 6 millimeter standard aluminum hex in the right color. So let's fit the tires and wheels, and we also got a body and wing for this. I also got a gravel hound, but that gravel hound set is identical to another gravel hound that I have. So we're gonna go with a rising storm and maybe find a plasma edge somewhere, sometime. All done for now. Everything works, and we actually got a working car again. So yeah, there's a couple of changes that I might do. Still a bit springy, jumpy. That's perfectly normal. I checked the oil and everything was fine, but it's perfectly normal. It's got the DF-02 got some pretty hard springs and some soft oil, so yeah, I might mess around with that someday. I might even change the servo and the receiver and even the motor, maybe the ESC someday. But for now it's good, and everything works and is to my satisfaction. All there's to do now is to mount the body. I already mounted the wing. It's not a stock DF-02 Rising Storm wing, but some generic wing that I cut so it would fit the Rising Storm. A bit transparent with the stickers, but yeah, she's a runner. So let's get to the exciting part now. So I did mount it a little higher than stock here in order to not mess around with the wires and get a straight body here. But yeah, it works fine with the higher mount because it creates this upwards swoop that I pretty much like. The standard wing is actually pretty horizontal and smaller, but this looks great, I think. Got some body pins to match. Yeah, I like it. For a DF-02 fanatic, this is quite pleasant. There's really nothing to it, to the feeling than working on a car that you know by heart, in and out, and yeah, just having a good time at the tabletop, relaxing. So that was number 3. Let's get to number 4. Gravel Hound, completely stock XP version, released in I think 2004 or 2005. But maybe I can do something about it. I'm not sure what. I don't want to upgrade it definitely too much, because now I have 3 upgraded DF-02s and I don't need a 4th upgraded DF-02. But yeah, pretty one. So maybe some new electronics or something. Yeah, we'll see about that. I'll see you other, or if there's any other DF-02 fanatics in the world watching, I'll definitely see you in a new DF-02 madness video. Take care everybody, happy holidays and keep them running.